Senior Moments, sponsored by the Empowering Seniors Group on News Talk KVNU, 102 FM and 610 AM.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Senior Moment Show. My name is Bryce Patton, here with the wonderful Sid Roeder. How are you today, Sid?
I'm doing fabulously. How about you?
You know, I'm a little tired. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
How does that happen?
I don't know. I really have no idea.
Is it because it was so cold?
I guess so. It must be that. It must be that. But I'm excited. We have a wonderful guest with us today. But before we dive into all the information he's about to share with us, would you tell us about our sponsor?
Absolutely. Our sponsor is the Empowering Seniors Group, a group of professionals that have dedicated their time and effort to provide information to seniors, their family members, caretakers, and all those great people that listen to us every Saturday morning. If you'd like to learn more about the Empowering Seniors Group, you can do so online at empoweringseniors.info, or you can email us at empoweringseniorscv@gmail.com, and the CV stands for Cache Valley. And lastly, you can call me personally with suggestions for the show at 435-512-6406.
Oh, thank you for doing that. Well, wonderful. We have Eric Swenson with Beam Lending. He is no stranger to the show with us today. Welcome to the show, Eric.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Hey, well, to start off, we were kind of hoping, being the lender and doing that, do you want to kind of walk us through kind of a snapshot of what's going on with the market right now? And I know that's always on everyone. Well, what's interest doing? What's going on? What's the rates like? So you want to give us a little bit of a snapshot on that?
Well, let's do it. High altitude view of our mortgage environment is it's better in rates than it was a year ago. Obviously much higher than it was during COVID. But as a 20-year view, we're sitting very solid in maybe the 40th percentile of where rates have been. My parents bought a home in the 70s. It was 14%. We're not in that range. The typical 30-year mortgage is around a 6% rate. Slightly lower if you're in an FHA or government program, slightly higher if you're a self-employed type of loan that's, a portfolio. So we're in there. The government has loved to see around a 5% interest rate. So we have come from 7.5, almost 8 year and a half ago down, and we're trickling, and we're now at around 6, 5.5, somewhere in that range. It's always dependent on credit, of course, and income and the other elements of down payment. But our company at Beam does forward mortgages, meaning mortgages for conventional FHA, VA, USDA in Utah, Idaho, and a bunch of other states. But we also do those reverse mortgages, and those reverse mortgages have a play in that general market. Right now, the big talk and the buzzwords is President Trump's trying to get lower rates, and that will keep our real estate world churning because that's kind of one of the lifebloods of America. We don't know exactly where that'll go because people don't play the politics in the trading world. Bond traders trade because of their own desire, their own analytics, their own plan. So we can play with it in the government of things, but what we have seen is a steady decrease in rates. It's looking good. The spring selling season is upon us or coming, even though it snowed, which heaven forbid. I am so grateful for that snow. But normally with lower rates equals a little higher prices in real estate because people can afford more. So we're at a great spot right now, and we're reaching out to people to let them know to refinance their forward mortgages or look into getting, reverse mortgages as well. So the market is pretty positive. I'll say it like that.
Yeah, let's maybe dive into the reverse mortgage a little bit because, we've had you on before, but I'm sure still coming across people that don't really know what that does and how that works. And they heard the very old stories of when that came in the beginning and some things weren't quite done properly. So give us a little riffraff for people that have never heard of that. How does it work?
A reverse mortgage is made for people who are over a certain age. The government-backed system is 62 years old and older. There are some private loans doing reverse mortgages that are about 55 and older. It doesn't have to be both in the couple. Just the borrower or main borrower needs to be of that age. And they could have a younger spouse who has rights of survivorship in the home, for example. So that's kind of something people need to know.
So let me interrupt there. What does that really mean, rights of survivorship?
Okay, so my grandfather married my grandmother when he was 44, she was 22.
Oh, dang. Okay.
So there was a really big age gap. When he was 62, he could have now applied for and received a reverse mortgage as long as the rules were met. She, at that time, would have been much younger, right? We can do the math. 22-year age difference, she would have been 40 years old. She had my mother about that age. So if Grandpa was to pass away, my grandmother would have rights to stay in that property the rest of her natural life as long as a few things were paid, meaning taxes and insurance, and the property was kept up, even though she wasn't of the age of 62. That's what that means. But it isn't somebody just that you allocate. It can't be your buddy. It can't be, a girlfriend or a boyfriend. It does need to be a legal spouse who has rights to survivorship per the state requirements. But that's a cool thing. It was not that way in the early days, Sid, but it is that way now to protect the domicile. That's how that works.
Does right of survivorship only apply to a spouse, or could it apply to maybe a child with a disability or something like that?
That would be looked at by the underwriter, and then we would look at state mandated rules if that was to apply.
Okay.
Typically what happens in those cases is there is a trust or a will who's put in place, and then that child receives that benefit as the trustee, and that's a legal remedy outside of just within the reverse mortgage. But we let reverse mortgages be in the names of trusts. We let those things happen, and we review them. They need to be revocable trusts, but legally we're there to try to benefit the family in a reverse. And we'll talk more kind of as we dive in of what the reverse is, but kind of the gist is you get a loan on your property, and that loan may pay off an existing mortgage. It is dependent on the amount you can borrow off of your age when you apply, and the value of the home is established with a fair market appraisal. So in an example, I've got a 74-year-old gentleman, reverse mortgage in Nibley. He can borrow about 43% of the value of his home. Now, he can take that money in a lump sum, or he can take it as a payment, annuity style, or he can have a line of credit. But nonetheless, he can borrow on a $600,000 house around $260,000. He does not have to pay that money back. He can use it for whatever, subsidizing his life, going on cruises, whatever he needs. This is a financial vehicle that assists people in reducing the costs of their lives in lender expense, etc. It also can help them enrich their lives with having other monies to spend. And we're going to go over that here in a few minutes of what happens when they die, or what happens if they want to pay it off, hit the lottery down in Franklin, because there are rules and opportunities. You just have to know them. And that's what we also require is counseling. Every reverse mortgage person has to be counseled by an approved counseling service, and that protects our seniors very much from getting into trouble. That's true.
Thank you, Eric. We are at the end of our first segment here. When we come back, we're going to make sure to pass on Eric's contact information if you have any questions about reverse or forward mortgage. This is the Senior Moment Show. We're going to take a short break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Need a helping hand? The Bear River Association of Governments, also known as BRAG, is here for you.
They assist seniors with in-home services, provide utility bill relief through the HEAT program, and offer rental assistance to keep you housed.
Need help with tax prep? Their experts ensure you get the refund you deserve. And for veterans, they're here to connect you with the benefits you've earned.
BRAG is your local resource for a stronger today and a more secure future. Call today or visit brag.utah.gov.
This is Oliver with Cache Valley Pharmacy. We're working with Cache Valley's own Focus Pharmacology and CacheMedical.org to help you lose weight the right way with supplements that support your weight loss journey and easy telehealth appointments from the comfort of your own home. When you think weight loss, think Cache Valley Pharmacy, your partner for a healthier, more confident you. Visit us at CacheValleyPharmacy.com or go to CacheMedical.org to start your weight loss journey today.
I think Mom needs a little more help.
What I
I really need is a boyfriend who can drive at night.
Hi, this is Bruce with Comfort Care. With Comfort Care at your side, you can live your best life possible. We know families can't be there 24/7, which is why we can help with as little or as much home care as you need, so you can live in your own home on your own terms.
Could you give me a phone number? My daughter was texting.
Together with Comfort Care, you can live your best life possible. Call us today at 754-7676. That's 754-7676.
Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Dad.
No problem, sweetie.
I can't believe you're able to fit everything in that little sedan.
Bye!
When they move out, you can move on to a house that fits your life. It's time to live in a space that fits your family.
Hi, this is Sid Roeder with Achievement Realty.
Let me help you to find a home that suits your needs and is less to take care of. Save money or even make money on the sale of your current home. Call me today at 512-6406, then list it, sell it, and move on.
This is Mark Thurston with White Pine Funeral Services. The best time to plan is when you have time to plan. Having a pre-arranged funeral gives peace of mind for everyone involved. White Pine will customize your final wishes to fit your needs, from a traditional burial to cremation to a custom headstone. White Pine also accepts pre-arranged plans from other mortuaries, and we will absorb any transfer or revocation fees. No penalty to you. Visit whitepinefunerals.com or come and see us for more information.
White Pine Funeral Services, here when you need us most.
And welcome to the Senior Moment Show. My name is Bryce Patton here with my co-host Sid Roeder, and we've been talking with Eric Swenson from Beam Lending about mortgages, the state of the lending world right now, and you dove into reverse mortgages. And as you dove into that, I just thought, man, you do know your stuff. And so if someone has questions or wants to reach out to you, what's good contact information so they could reach out?
Well, let's give you three. I have a website. It's www.beamlending.com, and beam is like a beam of light. So not bean and frijole in Spanish, it's beam of light. My email is eswensen, ESWENSEN at beamlending.com, and here's my phone number. This is probably the easiest way. Give me a call at 435-363-7114. That will find me. It's a pretty cool phone system that we have, so call me. I would love to sit down, answer questions, answer them on the phone, whatever way works best.
Okay, Eric. Let's maybe, for any listener that isn't familiar with a reverse mortgage and still doesn't quite understand how that works, what are some scenarios why someone might want to consider a reverse mortgage?
Perfect. I'll do it through example. Is that okay?
Perfect, yeah.
All right, so someone just retired recently from one of our local factories. And their retirement is actually a pension. It's about 70% of what they were making their highest 5 years. And that probably equates for that family at about $6,000. Well, they have a mortgage on their property. It's not got a huge balance, $125,000, but their payment is $1,750. So you take $1,750 out of their $6,000 that they have available to them, and they're not quite yet old enough to collect Social Security, which will help them down the road here in a little while. But they also want to live and go on some vacations. They've been working and working and working. So every month, this family who's now come into me is saying, hey, we have only $2,000 left each month. That's it. And I say to them, okay, well, what can you cut? What expenses can you get rid of? And they have a $650 truck payment and a $450 car payment, and they're doing some other things with their money, and they can't cut those. So what we do is we can look at the house. Their home only owes $125,000 left. It's worth $700,000. They've owned it since the 80s, right? Now what they can do is they can start into a reverse mortgage, and there is not a payment due each month. So that $1,750 monthly payment, it goes away. Now they still have to pay tax and insurance, and it just opened up to them an additional 30% of their monthly income that they can now use to have a better lifestyle or enjoy their retirement years more appropriately. It's offsetting because at the end of a reverse mortgage, the reason it's called reverse is the mortgage company is accruing interest each month that you're there. So if they start by owing, say, $290,000, they will, by the end of their term in this mortgage, when they pass away, maybe they owe $600,000 to $90,000. But during that period of ownership, they didn't make any mortgage payments to the bank. Therefore, that money got to go somewhere else. And that's one of the reasons that people do it. I don't love doing it when people are really destitute and worried that they just can't make any payments, because this program has a required residual income. They need to make sure you're not a prisoner to your home. You can afford to keep it up, or you can afford to pay some, bills and buy food and things like that. But what it's there for is to really give you the control of your home equity and improve, the later years of your life. That's the idea of why someone would be interested.
Okay, so maybe just to paraphrase that in a little bit different way, if you do a reverse mortgage, basically over time the equity gets eaten away from the property, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. If someone is looking into reverse mortgage, there are some potential downsides. Maybe let me ask, when would you not recommend a reverse mortgage? You've already touched on some things, but what's typical where you say, maybe not?
I would say in some circumstances, a reverse wouldn't be appropriate if you knew you were going to move from your property in the next 2-3 years. That's one. The cost of a reverse mortgage is more than a typical forward mortgage, mainly because you buy into a super fund to protect against the chance that your equity use outpaces the growth of the value over time, or we hit a recession like in 2008 and 9. Maybe that house is worth $700 when we start the mortgage, but it's only worth $400 because of a big crash, but you owe the bank $600. Well, there's an insurance there and a protection that you'll never get kicked out, but there's a super fund. So the cost is a little more. Another reason would be, serious health concerns. I would say if you're stable and you're set and you're good, we could use these funds to get medical help in the home, or, home care, for example. What a great vehicle is home care for value in the home, like equity. It's a super trade. But if somebody's not able to mentally understand a reverse, then I'm not going to put a person into that situation. Other things or reasons may be you have other financial vehicles that you can use today that are potentially a little bit less costly, or if you have major disharmony in the family of the property potentially not being available for heirs. I don't want to create disharmony, but I think it is important to note that it's the senior's home. They get to choose what they do with it. That's important to note. So there's those circumstances, and I listen really closely because I'm not going to just full-fledged go and be a slimy salesperson and say it's for everybody. Some situations, no, I will counsel, don't do that.
So you mentioned there are times where there might be other options that might be better. Is that something like a HELOC or just refinancing and different things, and you can counsel people on that then?
Yes. There are those exact situations, and that's why I'm licensed to do forward mortgages, and I'm the reverse mortgage, and I can do home equity lines of credit or loans, because there are different circumstances that dictate each product or service is potentially more appropriate than another, and we talk through it. So mine is a consultation level service. I do make money for my family, but the money is not my motivation for doing what I do. I love to help people in their circumstance.
Perfect, Eric. And that leaves us just enough time before our second break to have your contact information one more time.
So give me a call at 435-363-7114. We're conveniently located in North Logan at 2072 North Main, Suite 101. It's a yellow building on the side of the road. Come on in, you'll see our sign, and it's very, very calm and a good place to be.
Thank you, Eric. This is the Senior Moment Show. Again, if you'd like to learn more about our sponsor, you can learn about the Empowering Seniors Group online at empoweringseniors.info. We're going to take another break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Getting around your home should be easy and safe. At RT Med Mobile, they provide wheelchairs, stair lifts, ramps, and electric lift chairs to help seniors maintain independence and comfort. Their friendly team offers free in-home consultations to find the perfect solution for you or your loved one. Locally owned and here to help, call 435-260-6171 today. RT Med Mobile. because your mobility matters.
Did you know 1 in 3 people will visit a nursing home? Did you know that once there, they will stay there for an average of 3 years? Did you also know there are insurance options that can help cover this experience? Hi, I'm Tracy Ferris with Blue Water Health Insurance. It's not cheap to stay in a full-fledged nursing home. Long-term care insurance can help you or a loved one get the care they need and deserve. If you wait until you need it, you may be too late. Give me a call at 435-890-8155.
Are you tired of feeling unwell and not knowing why? At Next Level Health and Wellness, we hear you. We specialize in uncovering the root causes of your discomfort, whether it's gut health, hormone imbalances, or emotional and mental blocks. With personalized plans, advanced lab testing, and evidence-based holistic nutrition practices, we guide you toward lasting health and wholeness. Awaken your healing potential with a team that listens, understands, and supports you wherever you are. Visit nextlevelhw.com to start your journey to feeling better today.
Picture this. Your family's locked in court, fighting over your home and your assets because there was no plan. Don't let probate decide your future. I'm attorney Justin Wall with Wall Estate Solutions. Stay in control with wills, trusts, and smart planning that keeps your family out of court and your wishes protected. Get peace of mind today. Visit wallestate.law or call 435-294-0346. That's 435-294-0346. Your legacy, your plan.
At Maple Springs Senior Living in North Logan, we understand that entrusting the care of your loved one to someone else is a decision not taken lightly. That's why we go above and beyond to create a nurturing environment where your family becomes our family.
When I found Maple Springs, it was like a weight lifted off my shoulders. The staff here really cares, and Mom is thriving.
The activities and social events have brought so much joy to Dad's life. I can see a positive change every time I visit.
We know that your loved one's well-being is your top priority, and it's ours too. Learn more at maplesprings.living.com.
And welcome back to the Senior Moments Show. My name is Bryce Patton here with Sid Roeder, and we've been talking all things lending, especially reverse mortgages, with Eric Swenson from Beam Lending. Eric, I love your passion about lending and helping people and finding the right solution, not just giving a product. And you mentioned earlier, we came into this thinking, hey, we should talk about reverse mortgages. But then you said, hey, that doesn't suit everybody. And we started talking about HELOCs and other things. So when would be a situation where maybe refinancing or doing a HELOC versus a reverse mortgage?
Right. Well, I think HELOCs are what we call a secondary product. And if a person has an extremely low interest rate on their first mortgage, for an example, we'll look at that and we'll say, hey, with your asset base or your income stream from those assets, does a reverse make sense? Do you need to use up that equity over time and put a lien in place? Or could we help you with a stopgap funding for giving you the option to use a home equity line of credit for when you need a little extra cash? You got it. What's interesting is the reverse has a home equity line of credit version to it. It's called a loan line of credit, right? Just a normal line of credit payout. You can use that and it actually grows over time if you don't use it, which is cool. But it's not easy to close because the cost is high. On a line of credit, home equity line of credit on a forward mortgage, it's pretty low cost to get those. So we'll see if that higher rate, because they're higher than a first mortgage, offsets that really low rate in a positive manner for that person's scenario. Sometimes it's worth doing an entire cash out refinance on the property, giving them a lump sum chunk of funds that they can go and use. Maybe they want to go buy a second home in St. George. Maybe they want to buy a cabin for the family in Bear Lake or Island Park. Those things happen. A home equity line of credit through a reverse isn't usually a very good scenario or solution to that. But a cash out is a good situation and a solution. So I love serving people. I don't do this just to become a wealthy dude. It's I'd probably do something else if that was the case. But it makes it so I like to consult and listen to your needs. Bryce, what do you need? What do you want to accomplish? What are your goals? And then come up with a impassioned and creative plan that it will best suit your desires, right? So home equity lines of credit are sometimes very good. I just had one where a guy had $40,000 of credit card debt, and it was all between 16 and 22% interest. He couldn't get out from under it, but he actually owed a little bit too much on the principal of his mortgage to get a reverse today by his age. So what we did is we opened up a line of credit for about $100,000, and he paid all those off and only paid those off. But then he still had $60,000 to use if he wanted for other things, and it's going to hit the mortgage, and the payment on that was only, say, $450. So those are solutions where I need to hear everybody's situation. And that's the big thing is I want to invite people who are listening to the show, tell your family and your friends about Beam Lending, about me, and have them come talk with me about their goals and aspirations. When it relates to real estate and how they can utilize it, sometimes a person comes and says, I want this, and it's too big for their situation. And I'll be honest about that. Sometimes we say, hey, you want to stay in your home, but it's too large and the budget's too expensive. Let's call Sid and let's have it marketed, and let's have you sell that home and buy a smaller patio home, right? Because here's your new budget. I think those are important because then we can find that right product and that right service for that person.
Yeah, I mean, I've known Eric for many years now, and I think sometimes having someone local also that understands the Cache Valley market, which is a little bit different than the rest of Utah, is really helpful. So I appreciate you. Let's make sure before we get anywhere near our break, maybe mention your phone number again before we forget.
Let's do it. So give me a call, 435-363-7114. And we have an 800 number too. But just go to beamlending.com. And if you need any contact or anything, I'm there. You'll see my smiling, balding cameo, and you can click apply with Eric, and I can reach out to you very quickly in that regard if you forget the number or didn't catch it.
And let me just ask, does it cost to sit down with you?
It does not. It does not. I never say everything is free, but my time is important just as yours. And if we make a valuable time consideration, it's just going to be a benefit for all, and I don't charge for those consultations.
So, I mean, speaking of time, how long does this process usually take to go through a reverse mortgage?
Yeah, reverses close between 30 and 45 days when we do them. But typically, it's a little longer cycle than that because people need to understand what they're doing. And I meet with folks 4 or 5 times typically, and they usually take each conversation. They go back to trusted loved ones, family, friends, kind of, look at it, stew on it a minute. And some already know that what they want it. Those are quick. Those are 30-day deals. But typically, it's between 60 and 90 days for us to do reverse mortgages. It's a little longer relationship.
Yeah, and just really quick before we get to the end, you did say there is some mandatory education, right?
There is, and you have to do it. There's a small cost to it. You pay for it as the senior. But those people are watching your back. They have a scripted level education course, and you have to pass through it and show that you're competent to understand what you're getting into.
Super. Thank you. Again, this is the Senior Moment Show. We're visiting today with Eric Swenson from Beam Lending here in North Logan. Learned a lot today about all kinds of things mortgage, but we are at the end of our show. So we hope you tune in again next week.